minns ju den tid du gav mig life villa yo. Nu vill jag kunna ge tillbaka allt jag inte kunna ge förut. Det finns ingen annan där som kan stå här by my side, oh why. Sättet du rör på det får mig att dö för det baby. För de här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. Och det jag lägger av min tid, jag vill ha det. Du får mig känna safety. Vi kan nog leda baby. Och jag kommer aldrig ändra mig. Aldrig.
Greetings. What's up, Baba? How you doing?
Hey, Chief, how you doing, man? It's great over here, man. First thing I want to do is shout out my new great-grandniece, Mackenzie. My brother had his first grandchild. So I just want to give my little niece, welcome her to the family.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, man. Shout out to Cuz. Welcome to life, little Cuz. You know, that's what
Yeah, man. My mother's first great-grandchild. I'm excited. My brother's excited. But what you got going on over there in Salon today?
It's cool, bro. It's cool. They just happen to be calling prayer. There's a masjid right across the street from me, so they get it in, you know. But you know, it's right on time as well. I think, you know, it's a blessed day. It's Sunday, and we have a very divine sister who's coming on, has a very very spiritual journey. You know, I'm very intrigued by her own personal journey, what she's been involved in for the last few years, and you know, just how important it is for us to know about the work that the sister is putting in terms of the culture and preservation and making those international connections and just representing that Geechee, you know. She's been putting it down. So that's what this show is about, highlighting us, making sure that people know, like, you know, collectively we all own it one way or another. But this sister here has been doing it in the divine way. I'm excited to bring her in, actually. But first, what you got going on out there? Anything going on in the Burg?
Well, man, we just, as you know, we just finished up the Black History celebration at the library. I saw brother Wayne O'Brien came to visit me the other day, and he was telling me about some projects he has going on here in the area and what he's doing down there in the Aiken area, opening up his museum down there, and the people can are called down there and arrange for a visitation with him. And I didn't even expect to see him. He popped up on me, and our good friend Tammy brought him to the office, and we had a chance to chat for a little while. But other than that, man, like I say, man, as family and everything goes, we're just celebrating the new birth. And yesterday I was out in Cope, which we call Timbuktu. I was out there for a little bit yesterday because a relative of ours was celebrating his birthday at the Great Branch Community Center, which is out about 10 miles away from here. But basically doing what I do research and continuing this lineage restoration, which is important to me and you as we continue to build up our legacy.
For sure, man. So we're going to get into it very, very soon. Shout out to brother Baba FM. He runs a group called Strategic Black, Leadership? Is it leadership? No, Strategic Black Empowerment Training. Yes, it's a training module that's modeled loosely off of the work of Dr. Amos Wilson, but really it deals with the psychological aspect of how we should be thinking and should be operating. So shout out to Baba FM. Appreciate you very, very much. Yes, empowerment, absolutely. So with no further ado, what I'd like to do is play the short video. It's about a minute and 55 seconds. Y'all gonna love it. It's we have it listed as Ring Shout documentary, but it's really gonna introduce you to kind of work that Sister Olubayo does. Not what she talks about or what she's dreaming of doing one day, but I'm talking about work and sweat and blood and sacrifice already contributed to the process of African restoration. So with no further ado, we're going to the documentary. After that, we'll bring our sister to the stage.
The ancestors are like an invisible string that hooks you and pulls you along. You can't see them most times, but you can definitely feel their tug. I started out on a quest to find out how dance had helped our people maintain and stay connected to our African culture despite all attempts to wipe this connection out. I traveled for more than a year throughout West Africa, the Caribbean, Central America, recording and learning dances that would give me clues about our ancestral connections. I knew that the dance held a lot of the culture. We had retained a lot and, in fact, hidden some of our identity and our spirituality and our culture in dance as an act of resistance against having our identity wiped out in slavery. The ring shout is a form of praise worship. It's actually not considered a dance, but it is worshiping and connecting to God through dance and through movement. I thought I was following a dance, but really it was a vehicle that led me to my ancestors, my family, and identity.
One of these days, one of these days, my people, one of these days, when the Lord call me home.
I see the sign, yeah, 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 sign in the air.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That
Hey,
was
look. Hey, look, man. That's that Geechee family down in Georgia right there, man.
That's
I
the
just
real
seen Commissioner Griffin Lotson, so I know it's official. You
yeah,
understand what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
deal
So,
right there, man. That's the
yeah,
deal. I
man.
watched it several times yesterday, and I enjoyed it. So, man, yeah, that's dope.
Absolutely. So, you know, I have a quick story before we bring her out here, and I know she's going to just really break it all the way down for us. But Brother Griffin Lotson, who's a commissioner for the U.S. Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor, shout out to him. He came to Sierra Leone in 2019, and the purpose for his trip was to bring the ring shout back to Africa, back to Sierra Leone. When you're here and you contact the different societies and you get around the culture, you realize that everybody has something similar to a ring shout. Every tradition, every village has something that they do in clapping or in singing or dancing around a circle, counterclockwise. It's like a normal thing you find. And so him having visited several times, he said, I got to bring our own ring shout back. He was able to do that in 2019, January. And then he came back, I believe it was January 2020. And he launched a book dedicated to the Kumbaya song, being that it was first recorded and first written down from the words of Geechee folk. And so shout out to him and shout out to the whole family, specifically down there in Geechee, man, Geechee land down there in Georgia, man, because oftentimes we hear Gullah, we hear South Carolina, and we forget about the Geechee blood that we got in us down in Georgia too. Forget about our family down there. And I always say it's next to impossible because we literally the same exact identical people, man. And we just got a different flavor and, you know, different temperament depending on where you're at. But shout out to them. And with no further ado, I'm gonna bring Sister Olubayo in, have her introduce herself, and we take this show away. So give me 1 second here. All right. Ed, there she go. How you doing, sis?
Greetings. I'm happy, and it's just a pleasure to be here. How are you? Thank you.
All is well. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Yeah. We're excited. We're excited. You do great work.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, you know, we typically ask basic questions to get it started, but you know, the open-ended questions give you freedom to kind of take it how you want to take it, right? So, we like to say, who is Olubayo Jackson? Where does she come from? What kind of upbringing does she have? What makes you who you are?
Wow. Okay, those are great questions, and I'm happy to share. Olubayo Lindy Way Jackson. Um, it's also Inyamolade, which is my name from my initial in Senegal. So, initiated woman, and Amolade means wait on God. Don't be in a hurry because God has good and wonderful things for you to do. Olubayo means the high joy or the joy of God because my parents didn't think it was possible to have a child. And after 7 years of waiting, I came. And Lindiwe means the long one, which was given to my parents' name. And it's because they waited. And also because my uncle was a teacher in South Africa a very long time ago. And so through his travels, my parents decided to give me a Zulu name. And I think it's also there because I have to sometimes wait for the good things that are coming to me. Sometimes it takes a long time for me to get what I want in life and to really see the vision that God has for me. And Gru Iyakana means well seated on a great mother's stool. So I carry a lot of names and I'm well supported. My family, I'm from New York City. I grew up in New York City. I'm a school teacher. I teach dance and drama to around 700 students in New York. Um, I have always been interested in African dance. And I don't want to date myself, so let me say for a long time, I was just listening to music and seeing dancers that seemed very African to me. And wherever I found them, I would just buy a ticket to that country and I would just go and say, this is where I'm going to end up. Because I took African dance as a child and as an adult. I've been doing it for many years, over 20. And just in experiencing African dance, the first thing I thought is, wow, this is really similar to hip hop. And it's really similar to music that was playing. There was jazz and blues, and there was Ella and Miles. And my father, that was his way of teaching me history. And because my parents came from the South and they grew up in, they needed something that would give me a way to bridge the gap between my life and theirs. And for them, that was music and dance. So both my parents are teachers. My father, Robert Jackson, taught at Baruch. My mother, Eleanor Jackson, taught elementary school at PS 84. But all my in the house were based on music and dance. That was how I was shown the culture, even the sadness and the blues that sometimes I didn't want to experience. I said, Daddy, why you got to play that? And he'd say, we wouldn't have any joyful, happy times. You wouldn't feel the depths of our happiness if you didn't also have the sad times of what we went through in slavery and segregation. All of those experiences led to how we overcame it and why you can hear such a level of joy in our music. So that led me, when I got to be older, to just really want to find out, how do I know that I'm still an African person? In this world where everyone tells me, oh, you just have brown skin, so you got black skin. Oh, okay, so you can do an African dance. So you've got a name, but you're not really African. After all, you're American. And I was always saying, that's not true. I know myself to be an African person. African is household. My cousin Chico Kwyana had gone to Ghana and taught at the university, as well as my Uncle Joe. But I still didn't have a tangible way to show that I was an African person. And I later got that when I started to travel to different countries. I literally was at City College, and a Garifuna group came on from, I guess, from Honduras. They were doing punta. And I was so moved and touched that I was shaking. And I just said at that moment, wherever these people are from, this is Africa. This is what I know in Congo. This is those shaking hips and that moving like water, and I'm going there. So I brought a ticket. I got a guide, a language book. I could speak a little Spanish. I had a family that told me about the Garifuna Bicentennial, and I literally just got on the plane. My friend told me, anytime you see a Black person there, speak to them because they're going to be your people. They're going where you're going. And I stayed for a month just learning the dances of Punta and John Canoe. And from there, I traveled to Belize. So I was always traveling, whether to Cuba or Belize or Dominica, wherever I was going. And I had lived in Ghana for over a year as a volunteer teacher trainer, but I never thought to document it. It was just my experiences. I would just talk and I would share it with the kids. And then later on, I got a sabbatical, and that's what led me to buy a camera and just start traveling and documenting this. So my 2 documentaries, Aquaba Dance and Ring Shout, Let the Circle Be Unbroken. And that's a small, long synopsis of who I am.
And that's why I said divine, Baba. Baba, that's why I said this is a divine guest.
Well,
because wherever you find divinity, you find what? Music. You find dance. You find drums. You find joy. You find happiness. You find upliftment of spirit. Wherever you find God, wherever you find divinity, you find that, right? And when I watched this sister's story, I realized that that's exactly what had happened to her. That the divine spirit of music and dance had taken her away. She had been on this journey, you know? And so, Baba, yeah, man, this is Olubayo.
Well, she said a couple of things that resonates with me. She's from New York. I'm from New York. I grew up in the Bronx, so I'm very familiar with the different cultures in New York, the music, the food, everything. And so, what neighborhood you from? What part of New York you say you from?
Harlem, 145th Street, live and direct.
Yes, sir. That's right around Broadway, Convent, 8th Avenue. I know that area well. That's where my wife is from. My wife was she was born right there in Harlem Hospital.
Wow, okay.
And I'm from the Bronx. I grew up by Yankee Stadium. And I remember, I know well on a day like this is Sunday. So if you from New York, you know on Sundays, the Hispanic people, the Jamaican people, West Indian people, they will bring their drums out, the music, and they'll do all that. So New York is full of culture. So I'm very familiar with that. And you said something about hip hop.
Yes.
Well, myself, I've been with hip hop from the very beginning. From the very, I'm probably dating myself, but you mentioned dance, so you're a dancer, so I'm going to say back in the day, I tried to be a b-boy, a break dancer, and all that. I used to do all that pop locking and all that type of stuff. And it always amazes me, like when you look at different videos, you'll see people like the old Nigerian video clips I've seen. You'll see them doing backflips and all kind of stuff like that. And that's what we did when I was growing up. So I'm very familiar, and I'm glad that you connected that to New York and hip hop, because that's me. That's how I grew up.
Love it.
It's powerful, man. It's powerful. You know, even to put hip hop there as part of our dance and music culture, that has really become a global phenomenon. There's no race or ethnic group or culture or belief system that doesn't have a version of hip hop. I've seen Muslims rapping. I've seen Christians rapping. I've seen Chinese rapping. I've seen Russians rapping. I mean, breakdancing, you see Japanese breakdancing, you see Brazilians breakdancing. You look all around the world, you see the impact of Black music and dance.
Yes.
And really, I believe that it's one of the strongest Africanisms that was retained in our culture. You can go to certain cities, man, we have complete dance culture. You can go to, even right now in the youth culture, there's a revival of the dance culture in the youth culture right now. You see people juking down in Tennessee. You know, they got that footwork coming back in Chicago right now. You know, people pop locking and doing their own little thing on the East Coast. People is literally keeping up with our tradition of dance and song, and it's such a big part of who we are culturally. I wanted to ask you as a follow-up question. You said you taught 700 students, right?
Yes, still do.
I just wanted to know, how do you manage? How do you tell me what that's like?
Um, Actually, it's very engaging. It's very energizing because they come and they give me energy, and I've just been blessed that I'm doing something that they want to do. So I teach all of the students from age 4, which is pre-K, right now up to 4th grade, which is about 10 or 11. And so I have a different group of students every 50 minutes. And
Oh, wow.
I came to teaching dance really because I was a 1st grade student teacher, and I had a lot of the children that had special needs and couldn't sit and, were born in different life circumstances. And I needed to find something that would engage them. And at the same time, I needed to find something that would make them proud of who they were and their heritage. And I needed to cut down on the name calling and the sometimes anti-Africanism and anti-ourselves that we can get into. All of that. Well, I'm Dominican, I'm not Black. Oh, I'm Black, but I'm not African. I'm Puerto Rican. There was all of that going on. And I looked and I thought, how am I going to address this? These are the youngest students, and whatever I do now will affect them for the rest of their life. It will change their trajectory. So I literally started playing soukous music to my students who were used to bachata and merengue and this and that. And that got them saying, this is my music, this is my people. And that just started a whole world where I began to use dance to teach culture and teach identity. And many, many, many years later, that spun into my current position at PS 87 in Manhattan. So I really got into doing the African dance because I was doing hip hop with the students. That was what they knew and that was what they understood. And then when I would do the African dance, they could see some similarities, but they really didn't understand why hip hop is a uniquely African American form of dance and how it's so connected to our identity of African people in the diaspora. So 2014, I got a sabbatical. I was laying on a black sand beach in Dominica, and I had just seen a dance they do there called Sensei, which is a masquerade dance. And the Minister of Culture was talking about how that comes from Africa and how it could be Nigeria, it could be Ghana. They didn't know, but it was their African roots. And right there on the spot, I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to write a research project to look at African culture retentions in dance. So for a year, I went to Ghana, I went to Mali, I went to Belize and Honduras and New Orleans, and I brought those dances back and forth to the kids. Every country, I would bring a dance. I would teach my kids in New York. They would give a dance. I would go to another country and teach that. So that was such an engaging time because the kids learned so much. And one of the most interesting things that they said to me is they were looking at the pictures and they said, wow, Miss Olubayo, how come everybody in your pictures has the same color skin as you do? And I said, don't you know that every place in the world, there's a place where you come from and where you're the majority and where you're the norm, not the exception. And that is what I am in Africa and all of these places that I've traveled to. So it was really towards the end of that sabbatical that I even found out more about my Gullah Geechee roots. I did not know who I was. I used to ask my Aunt Vermel, Aunt Vermel, can I go meet the Gullah Geechee people? And she was like, fool, that's us. But I didn't really understand that. And I think it was a lot because of that myth that Gullah Geechee are only the people who live on the islands. And most of my family came from Orangeburg, South Carolina.
What?
Yeah, 214 Dutton Street.
What?
What?
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Hold
Wait a
up.
minute. You
Oh,
have
yeah,
Orangeburg
hold up.
connections?
Not the press.
You
214
got an Orange?
Street. Jackson's, Coins, Cease.
You have an Orangeburg connection?
Yes.
What's your people name?
Jackson, Coin, Cease, Cook.
Oh.
No cooks.
Run into the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah. Hey.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Baba.
I think we
Baba.
dropped.
Yeah.
You was just talking about Orangeburg and Harlem, wasn't you?
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, now you know I'm in Orangeburg right now. I'm from Orangeburg. Born here in Orangeburg.
Descended right here too.
Whoa.
He's Orangeburg. We're Orangeburg
That's my
descendants.
big cousin.
I migrated from Orangeburg to New York when I was 10 years old. My mother and I moved to New York from Orangeburg. This is amazing. You have an Orangeburg connection. I am truly surprised.
Yeah.
The South Carolina State. My mom came from Society Hill, and
What?
she's in my father's mother's rooming house, and that's how they met, because they were both at Society Hill. I mean, both at South Carolina State, and then they migrated to New York. So my dad always calls me first generation New York born.
Well, that is
You're
amazing.
like me.
That is amazing. My whole family on both sides have attended South Carolina State and Claflin. My house is about 5-10 minutes away from both colleges.
Yes.
This is truly you
I told you.
Me. I'm lost for words.
I'm
really lost for words. This is amazing. This is amazing. Now you have to come to Orangeburg.
I will come, definitely.
Yes, you have to. Now you have to come because we're organizing a Gullah Geechee festival in Orangeburg. We've been fighting for Orangeburg to be recognized as part of the Gullah Geechee culture for many reasons. We even did a special show to highlight why Orangeburg is part of the Gullah Geechee cultural heritage community. Mm-hmm. And all three of us have the same Orangeburg connection. I'm first generation up top like you. My mom, my siblings, everybody born in Orangeburg. I'm born in Pennsylvania. So up and down the highway all my life. I know family and culture on both sides. Almost like in reverse to Baba. Baba was born down in the Burg and then raised up in New York. And then he went back down to the Burg as an adult. So that changes this interview. That changes the narrative.
It really does. It changes everything because we're fighting to have people recognize our Gullah Geechee heritage and everything. And Chief and I we've already shown and proved that our ancestors came from Sierra Leone, mm-hmm. And other places, but we represent the Sierra Leone connection for sure. And now we have just met Sister. Say your name for me again. I don't want to mispronounce it.
Olubayo.
Olubayo. Oh my God.
Olubayo.
Oh my God. This is amazing.
It's wonderful.
This is
wonderful, man.
Hey, Chief, these kind of things always happen to us, man, for whatever reason, whether it's spiritual or whatever, but these different Orangeburg connections have been happening to us. I believe there's a reason for it.
Yeah, I believe anything that's ancestral is spiritual. Even that the connection is of parents that we're talking about. We were born with this Orangeburg connection. We didn't have no choice. It's a connection that we inherit as legacy bearers of this heritage. Yeah. We just got the same connection. Probably on different levels other than just, one place. If you know Orangeburg history, then you know that we all family by blood or by marriage.
Yep.
Regardless of how it go. And that's one thing that me and Baba really has been pulling back the covers on, so to speak. A lot of the heritage of Orangeburg has been hidden from the people of Orangeburg. And so me and Baba have been utilizing our own heritage, our own family lineage. He's my elder cousin. We never knew each other. It's from doing genealogy and genetics that we discovered each other. And then we already knew the same relatives. And so it was like, man, that's crazy, you know? So it's a powerful thing. People from Orangeburg, we made a big imprint on history, and there's nobody who talks about it. And we just feel like that's what the ancestors are shaking us up to do. They want to bring us back to, the full attention. You talked about discovering your Geechee identity within the process of pursuing your purpose. Tell me what it was like for you to discover that you have this heritage, and how was you received by other Gullah Geechees outside of your family who knows you Geechee? Like for me, my family know we Geechee. Ain't no argument. Ain't nobody in my family gonna say, "Shut up, boy, you lying."
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in my family. But somebody who don't know me might say, "Boy, you from Orangeburg. You ain't no Geechee."
Right. It was awe-inspiring. So to be 100% transparent, this entire journey was an ancestral journey. I had already spoken to my ancestors, and I told them that I had done a lot of education in other people's institutions, learning secondhand and thirdhand from some expert about what was mine. And I said to my ancestors, I don't want to learn it that way. I want to go on a journey and meet the living keepers of our culture, the griots, who would let me walk into these traditions and feel it and find myself. Because all of it really was a journey of self-discovery and knowing how I legitimately am an African person. And my parents didn't make any mistake when they called me Olubayo. That was always a dichotomy. Oh, but are you from Nigeria? Why can't you speak Yoruba? So I fell on this Gullah Geechee part of my heritage almost by accident. I was searching, but I got chosen to be part of the National Endowment for Humanities Institute, Gullah Geechee Institute. Gullah Voices is what it was called in Savannah. And I got there and I almost was not going because I was in Ghana previously the day before, and it was about to be a big festival called Fetu Afashe. And I wanted to stay. And my godmother, who has been, I couldn't even have made this journey without the advice and the spiritual counsel of my godmother, Attila Khadija. And she told me, Olubayo, you are going to go to Savannah and you're going to go to this speaking engagement. I got there and immediately that's when Griffin Lotson and his ring shouters came on. These people came on. I started weeping. I started crying. I started shaking. The people in the Institute were like, is she having an asthma attack? What's going on? I couldn't explain. I felt like I was with family. And I felt like the voices of so many just celebrating that I was finally home, because I had done a year in all of these different places, all over Africa, all over the Caribbean, all these communities, but I hadn't really done my own. And so when the speaking engagement was over, we were there for like 7 days. Every day a different speaker came and a different speaker spoke. And every day I had the same experience until an old man said, she's not sick, she's got the spirit. And then everyone had to understand. I was probably one of maybe 3 Black people in that institute. But the people who were participating and speaking understood. And it was immediate warmth. It was immediate warmth. I had the song sung to me, the song that connects us to Sierra Leone by the Morocco and his mom. And he took me around all of the Sea Islands and all the important places. And I left. And when I got to North Carolina, because I had been looking for a ring shout that I could record for my documentary, I called my godfather, Baba James Smalls, and I said, Baba, I've looked for a ring shout everywhere. I can't find one. I'm going to go home and I won't have a ring shout in my documentary to represent us. And he said, Girl, Ring Shout is just a black church. You go to black church anywhere you are, and you see people catching the spirit and getting out right there, and you got Ring Shout. And I said, I know. He said, well, hold on. I'm going to send you to Riceboro, Georgia. I want you to go back where you were to see my cousin, Jim Baycoat. And when he said that, I said, you're not a Baycoat because we're Baycoats. Well, immediately I had to call my mom and I had to call Baba Jim. And I was like, you can't be Baycoats. Yes. So it turned out that we're all Baycoats. We all came. Baba Jim's family came from Society Hill, but because of an altercation with the Klan, they had to change their name and leave and go to Georgia. And all of us came from basically Georgetown, Charleston area before we were dispersed. So I get on the bus, I ride like 6 or 8 hours. I get to Geechee Kunda. And Baba Jim has told me, I'm going to bring you a group of ring shouters. Just have your camera ready. I got there and it's the Gullah Geechee ring shouters.
The same ones.
As the Geechee Kunda ring shouters. And they were like, baby, if you had told us that you needed us, we would have done it for you. So they sang and they danced and they taught me the movements. And at the end, they sang this song called Wait on the Lord.
Yeah.
And they said you had to go through all of this because you had to wait on the Lord for what you were supposed to receive.
I just heard that song played this morning. I just heard that song played this morning on the radio, but continue.
Wow. So I got to Geechee Kunda. I wondered why it was so long, but it was the right timing because Baba Jim invited me to come back to the gathering at Geechee Kunda. He's like, just bring your video camera and come. And I was like, I'm going to start documenting all of this. The day before I came was when he had been diagnosed with cancer. And so I was in a rush to get all that I could get and document all. And it was like a doorway just opened up to my whole world. Because everyone that I even spoke to, they didn't speak to me like a documentarian. They're like, oh, baby, come and sit down. Come and let me tell you about the ironworking. Come and let me tell you about the basket weaving. Come and see this. Come and,
let's feed you. I know they offered you some food.
How this stick, like the Congolese stick, and how, yes, you're right about your feeling that the ancestors communicate through this. I had so much fried fish and I did so much. I was so full. And then when I told it to the rest of my family, they were like, but of course. Everybody was like, but of course. My mom always says you're a throwback to an African ancestor way back when. So it makes sense. And it was just a blessing to be able to get that footage and to be able to retain that history, because right now, Baba Jim has passed on, but his legacy at Geechee Kunda is living not only in the, all the things you can see in his home and at Geechee Kunda, which is not open right now, but I feel like it's living in every story, every person that goes out of there. When he was passing, he said, you're the cultural ambassador, the international cultural ambassador. And I said, I don't know how to do that. And he was like, baby, every single person that went to Geechee Kunda got an inoculation. And once you got that inoculation, you came here, you got that purpose. And nobody will have to tell you what to do. Just go forward and carry us. And when you can, you'll bring the people who you've experienced in Ghana and Dominica, anywhere, you'll bring them here. So that feels like a tremendous task, but I'm definitely not alone. When I went back recently to continue recording for the documentary, I spoke to Gregory Grant, and he always says, if I look forward, I'll find we're all family. Well, when I was in Dominica, I went to record some some dance, ballet dance, the traditional dance. And I got in the river and I kept singing, Take Me to the Water to Be Baptized. I couldn't stop my ancestors from singing it. They just kept singing it. It was about 6 hours later. I wanted to go to sleep. I said, ancestors, will you stop singing this song? They would not stop singing the song. I said, what you want me to do so you can stop? They said, you better get on the phone and call someone. So I called the ring shouters. I couldn't get them on the telephone. I called Miss Joanne. I said, what next? So I called Gregory Grant. I said, these folks won't stop singing. He said, okay, let's investigate. And he told me the history of Geechee Kunda and why the legacy that I'm carrying is important that I continue it on, and how I shouldn't jump over my most recent ancestors and family members in my effort to get back to the continent and forget about what we have here. So he looks on his genealogy. He said, I bet maybe we might be family. I gave him my mom's name, my grandmother. He looks right there at Ellie Baycoat, Austin Evans, and he discovers that his grandfather or grandmother was the person who raised my mom. So wow. I'm tied to Geechee Kunda not only as a Baycoat on Jim's side, as an Austin and as an Evans on Gregory's side. And none of it would have happened if Baba James Small, my professor and godfather at City College, hadn't told me just to go back and look. So all of it is shocking.
It's powerful.
Surprising.
It's powerful.
But it's surprising because ancestors, I said, everywhere, ancestors use song and dance to bring us back to ourselves and the things we hid when we couldn't speak our languages. We couldn't talk about our identity. We couldn't speak about our purpose. But I feel like if you give them a window the size of a grain of sand, they'll open it up and reconnect you to everyone. I didn't do that much. They just said, go here, go where I send it. And I just was obedient most of the time and went. And when I wasn't obedient and when I went the wrong way, they said, okay, no problem, but we'll send you back and you'll do it again. So I feel Absolutely. Like is that once again.
Sister, you could add storytelling to your talents. I mean, you just made that very, very visual for I believe everybody. But yeah, Geechee culture is mystical in and of itself. There's something godly about it. There's something sacred about the very existence of our survival. And, just the whole aspect of being from New York, Baba Smalls is a professor, but he's a kinfolk too.
Yep.
you ain't know it though, but you chase that blood. And it's a powerful thing because when you have that blood connection to a place or institution, it really becomes your ancestral responsibility to make sure that you carry out your mission. So it's beautiful to know that you were given your assignment. You were already on it, but you were given your assignment. You were basically reinforced. It was made formal that you were already on the right path, and ultimately, Geechee Kunda is you. It's those of us who understand the essence of what it means to maintain our culture despite oppression, despite being ostracized and isolated and being stigmatized, and all of that. Even me, when I used to go down south to visit my family as a child, the culture was just too crazy. It was different. They was rough, They was rough. They was roughnecks, man. They ran around with their shoes off, man. They run through the woods, and it was rough for me coming from the city and then going down and experiencing the country life as well. But I understand what you're saying in terms of going through that organic, what I would call rites of passage, from New York to Riceboro, Georgia, down to Geechee Kunda, And it just puts everything else that you've been doing leading up to that point into proper perspective. You're a great storyteller as well. That's probably why you can do these documentaries so good. You said something that I wanted to hit on, and then I'll let Baba respond because I know he got some heat. Yeah, I know he got some heat. He over there waiting, man. He over there holding his lips. You know, he over there holding his lips like, boy, I'm ready, boy.
You go ahead, Chief. I'm just blown by this Orangeburg connection.
Yeah,
I'm
blown away. I'm blown away by your Orangeburg connection. First of all, let me tell you that. And then the Riceboro connection. My wife has a Riceboro connection.
Wow.
That hit me also.
That hit me. And then I know that the majority of the people of Riceboro came from Sierra Leone. Mm-hmm. And majority of those people in the low country of Georgia got that Sierra Leone, Mali Empire, blah blah connection. And so definitely I know you got to come through Sierra Leone. Me and Baba done traced our roots all the way back to the exact village and family and chiefdom using DNA. So
wow,
we home.
Yeah, we have made our ancestral connection. We know the village, we know the family. We've done our research. This connections that seem to keep happening to me and Chief is just amazing. I know this is a spiritual journey that we're on because it's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. And I'm a firm believer that these things are happening because they are supposed to happen. We're supposed to make that connection back to Africa, back to Sierra Leone. I'm all for it. I am
absolutely.
I am all for it. And you was talking about what's the thing? I was going to say I didn't even know I was born into the Geechee culture, but I didn't know it. We didn't have a name for it. First time I heard the word Geechee was in New York, and they used to tease me, and they used to tease me and everything. But I was already down. Papa Joe, Papa Joe and Grandma and them. Man, I was born into it. The Chief will tell you. I talk about Papa Joe all the time. And Papa Joe do the ring shouts. The man taught me. Papa Joe was my man. He say, once you put your hand to the plow, do not turn it loose.
Turn it loose. Keep going.
So I've been doing that, and I've been doing it ever since I got into this research genealogy thing. I found Chief. I found my Sierra Leone family. I found Igbo cousins. I found Bakongo cousins. I haven't been to the continent yet, but I'm on my way.
Oh yeah, you're on the way.
It's going to happen. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm still blown away by this Orangeburg thing, man. I did not expect that today. I did not expect this today. I really didn't. I really did not, man. And I'm going to be talking about this for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm happy about it.
When I go out and see the people, and I'm gonna tell them about you. I tell them about Chief. I tell people all the time about this Salon connection, and I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this Mende heritage I have and everything. The Chief is, I'm just blown away, man. I'm just blown. I want to thank you, sister. You made my day. You have made my day.
Absolutely. She surprised me too with it, man. This brother Raz Lazarus Nazari is one of him. Yeah. That is my brother. That is my brother, man. Shout out to Raz down in Georgia, man. He holds it down for the culture. He's a Rastafarian. So he's deep into the mysteries. He's deep into the indigenous rights of our people. Very powerful brother. We got to get him on here as well. But he's saying here the Penn Society have all disappeared in the last 20 years. The Gullah had their own secret societies that maintain the secret of the mysteries of life. And that's so true. Even if we didn't have a name for it, even if it wasn't centrally organized, the evidence of the fact that you can find descendants of Gullah Geechee households that weren't even born in the corridor, nowhere near the culture, that still have the markings of the people. It's just like when you have people who are Mendes or Zulus, and they're born in New York City or born in Philadelphia, and that's where they're raised at. That's where they grow up at. You still can observe them enough to say, yo, they still got their mama and daddy culture, though. You understand? They still got something in them that make them distinctly part of us. And so, in other words, every nation has its diaspora.
Yes, yes.
You know, and for us going back to get the knowledge, like, you know, Baba Kimo is a great resource to me. Let me just say that, because when you're talking about how you go back and get with your elders and able to give you the knowledge and guide you along your identity, give you the inspiration, give you that support that you really need. I found that in Baba Kimo and others who I found on my own path of trying to make sure that what I do today is aligned with what my ancestors would have wanted me to be doing today. Yeah. That it's an alignment movement. It's not just me doing what I want to do, but it's me doing what I'm compelled to do because I am who I am, and I can hear what I hear and I can feel what I feel. It's a very spiritual thing. That's why I said being Geechee is already a mystical thing. We already got certain beliefs. The spirit work different with us. You know, we respond different to song and dance. You know, we dance when we cook. You understand? We just do it. We're creators. And so it's a powerful thing. Shout out to Brother Ross Lazarus, man. You're right. And we can bring some of those back. Speaking of the secret societies, very quickly, I have a video here. We can take a quick break and watch this video. It's about the Poro Society of Sierra Leone and Liberia. Yeah. And on this particular clip, it's about 1 minute. It's a Yorugu, a European, a Bukra, asking a brother from the Poro Society in Sierra Leone, asking him what was it that could have made the people of the Amistad come together if they came from different cultures and traditions like they tell us. They tell us that we could have never united because we didn't speak the same language and didn't have the same culture, right? But Poro is multicultural. It transcends ethnicity. It transcends language. It's a whole society for itself. So just watch this, and then we'll get back on track.
In the hold of the Amistad, you had Mende people, mostly Mende. You had Bandi. You had Temne. You had Gola. You had Kono. Sherbro. How do they cooperate?
When they don't speak the same language.
No, that is an assumption you're making. The Bandi, the Gullah, they will speak Mende, the Shabros will speak Mende, all right? And some Konos will speak Mende. But there is one other common strand you've not seen.
What is that?
They are all members of the Poro. Being a member of the Poro Society is a secret society, but it goes across tribes. And all the tribes you've called all have it. They also had certain things in common. The secrecy, the oath, and the loyalty to that secret society could have brought them together.
The Poro Society was central to the rebellion. Central to the rebellion. Central to their ability to organize themselves.
It goes across the tribes.
That's the point. Because there were 9 or 10 different ethnicities in the hold of that ship.
Wow.
So you understand, right?
Cry, because that's how I met you. I was wanting to come to Sierra Leone because my cousin Gregory Grant was mentioning some of those things, that traditions that people say got lost, and it was that tradition of seeking. So in part of the documentary, I'm meeting him at the Praise House that's at Geechee Kunda. And he was talking about how our people used to go into the woods and seek their connection to God so you could become a member of the church. Always I heard my mom telling her own stories about getting religion. It was just a normal thing. I didn't know it had anything to do with Geechee or Gullah, nothing. I knew that existed with us. And when I talked to Gregory, he said that what we were doing in in our Gullah Geechee societies was similar to the Poro and I think it's called Sunday Societies in Sierra Leone. And I was like, well,
Almost identical.
I had already gone to Gambia, and we discovered that our roots, at least on one part of our Baycoat side, all come from a man named Jimbo Baycoat. That's who we have in common in Gambia. And before I knew that, I was told in a dream, go there because you'll see your mother. I didn't know why, and I didn't have any proof. And with Sierra Leone, I kept getting that urging, go there because you'll see your people. So I know that there's very tangible, living, and amazing connection for me in Sierra Leone. It keeps being brought around to me a lot, even though I haven't done my DNA. And I appreciate this invitation because so many of the things that as a kid, I didn't understand. Oh, I can't get up. And my mom says, wiggle one finger because the hate is riding you. And if you wiggle it,
That's some country talk right there. That's some country talk.
And grabbed a root in Harlem Week. And I raised it up and I said, hi, John the Conqueror. And the man said, where'd you get that, little girl? And I said, Mama said Uncle Otto used to keep it in his pocket to gamble. But those things that the reason why I'm pleased is that connection to the continent that we feel we've lost, but just like it's just in there. It's just the undercurrent of everything, and it's the undercurrent of the dreams and those voices that will tell me, oh, contact this person, go here, turn that corner and look again at that. It's just that same African spiritual system that's undergirding us, that we don't know why we hear that voice or why we see that vision, but it just, I feel like the blood wants to be reconnected. So it always tells us to meet the people and go to the places that will make that reconnection tangible.
Right. And you know, there's a spirit in the blood. Just like there's salt and water. You know, you got salt water, fresh water, Geechees. The difference is the way they taste, because if you look at them, you can't tell. You understand? And it's the same way with our culture. I've lived in Sierra Leone the last 11 years.
Wow.
I've been in the traditional homelands of every ethnic group. I've dealt with the authorities. I've seen their dancers. And I understand that a secret means that it's preserved. That when they say secret society, it means our society is still popping, is what it means. That we never let them in. They don't know exactly what we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was in a Mende village in Moyamba not long ago. That's where I got this at. They made this for me. But they was looking, the brothers from the society was looking at my face, and they looked at these creases right here on the side of my face. And they said, man, you have the cuts. You have Mende cuts. They said I had the facial cuts when I smile and things like that. That's typical of Mende people. So they made this for me like, man, you know, this is for you. And I don't even know why I put it on today. I just felt like putting it on. But you're correct about the Sunday and the Poro societies. They were carried over with us to America. Look, in order for Gullah Geechee culture to exist, the rice culture had to exist. They had what they call the Upper Guinea rice coast in Africa. And then they have the lower southeast rice coast of North America. Same people. They took people from one coast in Africa and took them to the coast over in America, and all we did was adapt our culture. Instead of using what we use in Africa, we used what was available in America. That's all we did. And when you realize that Gullah Geechee comprised of many, many, many ethnic groups from throughout West and Central Africa, that we're not just one ethnic group. We're a nation. We're a nation. Just like you say, Poro is across tribes. Gullah Geechee is across tribes. You understand? Gullah Geechee is across tribes. And so there's aspects of it. When you see that we used to be into the secret societies like the Masons and our clergy, and the Mason was basically the same thing, Then the first lady and the woman in the church and the woman in the clergy, they was Eastern Stars and all that. That was us playing society life to make sure that we organize our families and our communities along the lines of an institution.
Yes.
That was an expression of our nationalism without having land, without having a government. We're able to express it sometimes religiously through our spirituality. And so it's a powerful thing that you're talking about. I would love to be able to connect you with some of the cultural people here in Sierra Leone, especially the women's side. I don't know if you know, but the Sunday Society is one of the last all-women's society. That the Mende people were created by a woman. It was a queen named Masariko. Queen Masariko, she had a disagreement with the Mansa, with the emperor of Mali, who was either her lover, her husband, or her brother. And they had a dispute, and he casted her out. He kicked her out of Mali. When she had so much support, people left with her. And they came to the bush. They came to Sierra Leone. And they recreated their culture in the forest and in the coast. And when we came, the white man was already here slaving people. They started slaving our people. Immediately, when we came here, the white man was already taking people away. And so we ran from Mali right into slavery. And they don't want us to know this, but that's what happened to us. And we have the marks of Mali all over our faces, all over the way we walk, the way we talk. And if you look at the Congo, the way we do Christianity, you can see it completely connected to the Congo form of Christianity. That ring shout is Congolese. That you understand these things, these roots that we're talking about, this hoodoo, this our traditional, this our African tradition, this our roots. This is why we call it roots.
And Chief, and we should also mention to her our connection to Madam Yoko. So because we're today. So we have a blood connection. We have a blood connection to these people. We already know. We already know that we're a part of this Mende Mandinka.
There's something happening.
Yeah, there's something happening. Something, and I owe it to my wife, who actually encouraged me to take the DNA test. How I found Chief, how I found Fatia, how I found Bakoli. It is something happening here with us right now that we keep making these different connections with you and others who have been on the show, and everything so far has been going back to Sierra Leone, the Gullah Forest region.
Yeah. So I can't
put it into words what's been happening to us, but it's been happening to us for the last 3 years or so.
3 years.
The last 3 years, because this connection is powerful. Things happened to me on my mother's birthday. I told Chief, all these things have been happening to me. And it's just amazing. Here you come with the Orangeburg connection today. That blew me away. I had no idea whatsoever that you would mention Orangeburg, South Carolina. I mean, that's powerful.
Right. Wow.
That is very powerful.
It is. It really is. You know, we've been making.
And for you to be from New York also, because I grew up in New York, I know about the different cultures and everything, the music, the dance. I know that. I grew up in it. So, man, hey, I just sent you a friend request too. So you gotta accept it. We fanboy now. We fanboy now. So we ain't gonna let you go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can't go nowhere now, man. You got to keep it going with us.
Well, I know I'm coming to Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
I just want to really right now acknowledge the ancestors, my ancestors, our collective ancestors, the ancestors of African people, the forces that are with me, my mother, Yakuna, who is culture and tradition and travels far and wide to retrieve us, because let me not lie, it's not been easy. It's been hard. I've been self-funding it. It's been a slow process. It's been now 10 years almost. Documentary, because each time I go, I find another connection, and that adds more and takes me in a different direction. And just when I can feel like, okay, the gig is up, like I can't do more, I stop and they start. I stop. And when I stop, they still bring something. Your wife called me and said, hey, I want you to be in the show. And I had tried to come to Sierra Leone and didn't have funding for it. Now it's like, but then out of nowhere, this came. And you bring up the very Poro and Sande societies that I'm looking for to connect. And you bring up that connection with Mali, whereas my own rites of passage is out of Mali and Casamance area of Senegal. And I wasn't looking for that either. I was minding my business in a dance class, and someone said, come to this meeting. And when I got there, they said, this is our daughter. So it's just amazing to me that when Spirit wants you to do something and you get put on a path, even if you get tired, they'll pick you up and carry you the rest of the way. Just December, I went back to Gichikunda. I got to speak to Pat. I got to talk to Jamal about what's being done to try to get Kunda open. And I was like, I want to show this documentary. I want to have a series with all these places I've been. I want some of these people to come. I want to have the garif and the drums. I want to show this one people. And I was like, they said, you can do anything you want, baby, but you got to plan it. Hopefully some funding will come. And I looked and I said, boy, that sure is daunting. And then just even being here, it's like all of the parts are still going, hey, we're coming in. We're going to fit in the place. And so I am so, so grateful that you invited me to the show, that you invited me to Sierra Leone, that I see this Orangeburg, connection. I've got another place to go.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we're all being woven back in together. Everyone that was separated, our spirits know we should come back together. And when we come back, that's strength to get done things that we would feel like got lost and got buried and can't come back again. But that's strength. It may be any connection that you don't even know that just sparks something and says, let it go forward. So I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for Djembe Coat and his memory, because I know that he's undergirding this. I know that Pat right now keeping Gichikunda and staying there and being that custodian along with Jamal and Gregory and Bathaya and just all the folks down there, they're just holding that ground like this, like, okay, we're holding the root. So now like branch out. I'll be very happy to branch out and take a piece of that with me to Sierra Leone and take a piece of Sierra Leone back. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have to nationalize and internationalize, because we are a very powerful and divinely inspired people. When you really understand the roles that people who could call themselves of Gullah Geechee heritage, like we can, the role that we've played over the last 300-400 years in history, the role that we've played in North American soil, in the Caribbean, the role that we've played in Mexico, and the role that we've played in West African history, the role that we played to shut down slavery on both sides of the Atlantic. As Gullah Geechee people, speaking the language where we they talk, the food where we they chant, all that down there. The same people no more. So for me, I never learned Creole in America. My dad used to call my mom a Creole woman. Your mama Creole. My cousins and them, Geechee. My grandmama was a root worker. I always say it proud and public. My family might be upset about me, about it, but she was into it. Some people believe in it, and then some people actually do it.
Wow.
And there's a difference between magic and miracles. And there's a difference between magic and miracle. I'll say that again. I've seen people where they feel like there's nothing that the doctor at the hospital can do, and they go find that root worker. They're looking for a miracle. Yeah. When you go to a root worker, you're looking for a miracle. You understand?
I know people.
When you broke and you don't got no money, you got rent coming, you go see that root worker, that money come out of nowhere. And so understand what that is and how we work the spirit in slavery to make sure that we have what we needed to survive. We are powerful, powerful people. In other words, had we not gone through the history that makes us Gullah Geechee, we wouldn't be who we are. And it's what makes us different. You said something earlier about why would I jump over my local, more recent ancestors and then jump back to the continent and start identifying with all these ancient groups? It don't make sense. Our ancestors took all of those groups and became one family. They created a community of self that was Black centered, that was based on the knowledge that they retained, and they applied to their survival. And that's who we are. It's why we dance the way we dance right now in the clubs. It's why we like to drink alcohol and enjoy. You know, all of this comes from somewhere. It's why we gang bang. We got a natural warrior culture, we need something to fight on. And so it's who we are.
I just want to say, I know our time is getting short, but I just want to say this has been a very powerful episode. It went in a totally different direction than what I expected. I mean, I was expecting to talk about dance and culture. I mean, we did talk about dance, but this has led something totally different. It's something very spiritual happening here. And I see you, sister. I notice you wiping your eyes. You having a moment. You are truly having a moment. Me and Chief talk about this kind of thing all the time. Every day, me and him send texts and we chat with each other. But we've had a lot of good episodes. But this one right here makes me think that it's something. I can't put it into words. There's something happening here. We're making these connections. We done found our way back to chiefdoms, to ancestral villages, to ancestral families. When I first connected with Chief, I had no idea he would lead me to Fatia. I had no idea that I would connect with Macaulay. I guess I can't say no more. It's just very powerful. And man, we down, my sister. We down. I can't say no more. I mean, I done said it. We got you. We got you here. Anything that we can help you with or be a part of, you holler at us. You holler at us. This is Orangeburg in the house. This is Orangeburg in the house.
For sure.
And I hope our audience recognize it. I always say that Orangeburg is a small town with a big history. And we have been finding out this information, these different connections. Not only with us as Black folks, but we even found out how we connect to these different buckras and everything. Man. So we already know what they've done to us, and we're healing now. This is a healing. Yes. This is totally a healing, and I'm just glad you're on the show, man. I'm just glad we met you.
Yeah, man.
I had no idea. I really had no idea.
Baba, you see it, right?
I'm telling you, man. Hey, when I got up this morning, man, I burned my sage. I lit some candles. I was around here doing my own personal little rituals and everything. This is what I do on Sunday mornings when Sunday mornings is my time to connect to my mother. My mother was very spiritual. She was highly religious, and this is my time when I feel her spirit here right now. So I don't even know if it's because my brother just became a grandfather. So I feel like Mama Cat is in the house. An ancestor has returned. So it's been a moment for me.
Yeah, man. I say, man. It just lets you know that what we're doing can't be scripted. We didn't know this. We really like. I did some research because my wife was like, "Man, you got to check this sister out. This sister is dope." When Kenya say that, I believe it because she got a certain taste. Like if you whack, she gonna be like, you know. But if you really a dope person, she gonna be like, yo, she dope. So she was bigging you up to me, and I'm like, all right, no, I know already. You know, I'm waving it off. But
I asked you that this morning, right, Chief? I told Chief this morning. I said, tell me about this sister. You know, tell me about her. And like I said, you blow me away. You blow me away.
Yeah, I had no idea, but you know, I'm proud of the fact that last year me and you decided to create this platform, and we've had so many people to come and share their knowledge and their stories. It's a very powerful thing. You saying documentaries? You do documentaries. I would love to do some documentary work with you. There's a lot of the culture that we know about from people who have researched us, but we haven't been the ones researching us. We haven't been the ones documenting us. So when we go and we need sources, we end up with a book resource. We end up with some coon, somebody who ain't got no rights to be talking about our culture. And so, you understand? And so it got to be us. It got to be the legitimate Geechees. You understand? It don't matter how far removed we is from the island or from the sea, the salt water. What matters is that our spirit is still connected to those ancestors buried in that ground. And it's those same ancestors that's pulling on our hearts and pulling on our minds and saying, hey, look over here. Do this right there. You feel that? You hear that? That's how they work. That's how the ancestors work. They give you hunches.
Hey, Foda, you know what my favorite saying is? My favorite saying is restoration is in order. Yeah. Restoration is in order. And we have been restoring our lineage. I'm caught up. But like I say, that is one of my favorite sayings. Restoration is in order. And we have been restoring our legacy to Mother Africa, to Sierra Leone. And I know we big up Sierra Leone all the time because that's our direct connection. But there's also the Congo, there's also Nigeria, there's also other connections we have made. So Chief will tell you, and we're chiefed up. We're chiefed up. So you know you connected to us now. So
try to see y'all this summer. I'm going to East Africa in the summer, so it sounded to me like I could take a beeline right to where you are, because everything just happens in God's timing. I wanted to come last year, it worked out.
Wow.
Wasn't thinking about it at all right now, and here comes invitation and the information to go with it. Probably because I made that pilgrimage in December to go back to Pat and Jamal and show them a documentary and just keep reinvesting and saying, okay, like, hey, y'all are still co-writers to this story. Like, where do you, my elder ancestors, want it to go? And it's clear that they're keeping it going, right?
When you come to Orangeburg, I got you.
I'm coming.
For sure.
I got you. When you come to Orangeburg, I will show you all around. If you ever come to Orangeburg, you let me know. I got you.
Yeah, but Baba is the man. Baba is the man.
Yeah. It's all good. It's very. But before we let you go, I want to ask you three things. Tell me 3 words that describe Olubayo. Olubayo. Those. I asked this question.
3 words.
Yeah, 3 words.
Connected, searching, ancestral.
That is very powerful. That is very, 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 very powerful. And I like.
Whenever you're ready to come home to Orangeburg or Sierra Leone
or Ceylon,
just let us know.
Chief got you over there. I got you over here. We tight.
Exactly. So what we're really trying to do is, we're uncovering our own history and heritage, but in the process of doing that, we're finding a lot out about Orangeburg that has been hidden, that was unknown. A lot of the historical records got burnt during the Civil War. And so there was a lot of oral tradition, but now that we're able to have access to records and genetic testing, the story is coming out anyway. So it's almost like we're doing investigative research using our own genetic genealogy. And it's telling the story of Orangeburg that's bigger than what most people could probably even believe or imagine. And so we've been working on it. And I would like for you to be involved, definitely, because we're talking about bringing people with the connection back. You know, we always brag about the different people with the connection. Big Daddy Kane, you know, Dave Chappelle, Diddy.
All these people from Orangeburg. All these people from the Orangeburg area.
All of them. You know, it's more. It's so many people, because Orangeburg was like Tuskegee for South Carolina. Mm-hmm. We have 2 universities there, 2 Black universities there. Yeah. Then right next door you have Aiken, South Carolina, which is the only county in South Carolina that was started by majority Black folks. Wow. During Reconstruction. So you have it's a Black zone. The majority of those counties is us. Wow. It's not like when you go down to Beaufort and you find majority Bookers and you get the little Blacks and a couple people. What they call that Midland, that inland, that backcountry, that distal area, that we call that Timbuktu. You understand? We know that's a little Africa.
I was in Timbuktu yesterday. That's what we call Cope. That's what we call, which is what we call. Orangeburg is a part of Cope. Cope is a part of Orangeburg. Yeah. But where our family come from is in Cope, South Carolina. And if you're from Orangeburg, you may have some connection out in the country. We don't know. We may find out. We don't know that yet, but we may find out. Like dig your roots up. Oh my God! If you have a connection to Cope or Norway, I will truly be blown away then. But it is all good, man. I enjoyed this episode, my sister. When I was looking at your video yesterday, I was into it. I felt drawn to you for some reason. For whatever reason, I was drawn to both of your videos. I watched them yesterday, and I had no idea. Even the other brother, remember the other brother we had from Tanzania?
Yeah.
Another Orangeburg connection. He lives in Tanzania. It's amazing. It is truly amazing what we have been rediscovering about the Burg. The Burg is a bad little town. People don't know it. People don't know it, but they about to feel us. They about to feel us.
Oh man. Say it again, Baba. Please say that one more time.
They about to feel us in the Burg. We come in, and they cannot deny us. They cannot.
We talking about we coming as cultural preservationists. We talking about the 803, like Lil Cuz said. We talking about we got our own little, our own area code.
But there's our young cousin right there, Dominique. Dominique is a dynamic researcher. That young man has been helping us find out a lot of information, and I'm glad he's watching today, because we're gonna do some things with him also. But man, this was great. This was
great. Thank you so much for your time today, sisters. Yes. Really. Yes. It's been divine. See, I called it out early on. I said this is a divine guest. This has been divine time. I seen it in your walk of life. It's almost on your face. Anyone who really looks at you can know that this is a person who's being driven by spirit, someone who's connected. And so it's a beautiful thing. Anytime you want to come back, you have anything going on, you need us to help you promote. You headed through Orangeburg, you coming through this way. Anything you can think of, you can say, you know what, I'd like to do this with the brothers. Invite us in. We've had former guests invite us in to speak to youth that they deal with, and all kinds of things, because promoting this Gullah identity and this cultural heritage, some people it's a gimmick. Yep. For some people, they're just falsely identifying. And some of us have actually been overlooked. Mm-hmm. And so it's a process, but it's a beautiful struggle. I thank you for your time, sister. We're going to have to do this again some other time for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for your work in preserving the culture and connecting it. And thank you for your honesty, because sometimes we are so concerned about what we say and who might not like it that we skip over or omit such important parts of our culture. And the fact that you're connecting this to Sierra Leone and that you live there, the fact that you're reclaiming our roots, our real roots, like in the spiritual traditions, though they've been maligned, and just like calling it out for what it is. This is our African culture. This is
Yeah.
like the origin of us. And we don't need to take on somebody else's philosophy and start bad naming it or being afraid. This is like what helped us overcome and have those revolutions, and it's still holding us down today. So I'm so glad for that. I definitely want to work with you. And I think that in that goal we're very much aligned.
Yeah.
Connecting who we are as African people and making sure that the true origin and beauty of our spirituality is something that's maintained and known by us. Because right now, everybody else in the world is trying to take a piece of it. And those of us who are the legitimate owners of it, we're the ones who throw up our hands and say, I don't want it. But that's what is holding on to us, even when we don't hold on to it. So thank you so
I
much
say.
for letting me be part of this.
Thank you as
Thank you,
well.
thank you, 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 thank you. I could say it 1,000 times. Thank you, thank you. I have enjoyed. Sister, you have a beautiful smile. You have a wonderful smile, man. I feel so connected to you from this episode. And like Chief said, anything we can do, all you got to do is just let us know. And if you come to the Berg, I got you.
All right, I'll be calling on you.
No, it is not a problem. It is not a problem. I love this is what I do. This is what I was born to do. This is what I was meant to do. This is what me and Chief talk about all the time.
Every day.
Every day we talk about this. They don't call me the chief elder for nothing. They don't call me the chief elder. It is my role. I feel that it is my role, and Chief knows this, to bring the people together, to bring us African people together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So with that,
so thank you, sister.
It's been a wonderful show.
It's been great. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
See you soon.
All right.
Tell the
No
folks.
doubt.
All right.
Thank you so much. All the best. Baba Kimo. So we still live, man.
Man, Chief. Hey,
that
Chief.
Right there.
Chief. I had no idea that this episode would go in the direction that it went. And it is good. It is all good. It is all as well. I feel good today, brother. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
I'm at loss, man. I just can't say it no other way. This is a powerful episode. I had no idea.
Absolutely.
And we've had some, like I said earlier, we've had some wonderful guests, some great guests. And I love every episode that we did. But for this young lady to come out here today and say that she has a connection to the Berg, to us and everything, man, this is good.
Harlem.
To Harlem. To Harlem, man. To New York, to Philly, to the 95 Highway 95 corridor. We up and down the East Coast, man. This is big. This is big. I think I feel that we can do some good things with this young lady here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's what it was about, man. I love the energy that she carries with her. I believe that there's so many of us out here on this path, but we don't know each other yet. We haven't really got together. And it feels like this show is a part of that. It's a part of presenting the different elements, the different individuals out there that's really leading these ancestral missions that need to be seen. It's almost like the ancestors are sending them to us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, this person.
They come
in. This person.
Hey, how my man Debo said? Debo said, they come in. So we coming.
Yeah, they coming. They're coming, man. They coming to the Gullah House. I tell you, say this our show. Yeah, come on in the house, boy. Let me have a talk.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good, man. This is good. But yeah, man, you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find you something to eat.
But real quick, man, you know, I want to shout someone out who's really been a supporter of Gonona for years now. Brother named Chris Cato. Chris Cato is a brother from down North Charleston, man. He was, I believe, he was one of the co-founders and former partner with Sister Akua Page with Geechee Experience. He did a video recently saying that they're not working together right now, but you know, to continue to support each other and things like that. But he's been quiet on social media for some time, but now he's been more active. So I followed him, some of his posts that he was making recently on IG, and I found an older post from back in June, and it tripped me out. I sent it to you, I believe, but I just wanted to share it and just bug out on it for a minute, man, because you know, this brother's from, you know, he's from the Chuck, you know?
Yeah.
And ain't nobody more Geechee than the Chuck. Ain't nobody who more Geechee than the Chuck. So, you know, them boys there, man, they feel some kind of way about everybody claiming to be, you know, Geechee all of a sudden now. So
hey. I only say one thing to that. Because we're from Taima Kore, ancestral village of the Gullah Geechee people. That's all I need to say. You know, that's where we're from. So let them chew on that.
But you know what though? I'm play this video, man. Check this joint out, man. This joint is crazy.
Just because I'm from Orangeburg don't mean I ain't Geechee, man. My uncle from the project. My granny from Johns Island. My daddy from James Island. No man, fuck that shit. We used to go crabbing off a Longhouse Bridge. My auntie Shirley the fucking candy lady, man.
That cracks me up, man. That cracks me up. Hey.
He said, just from Orangeburg don't mean I ain't no Geechee, man. My mama from Johns Island.
Yeah, that cracks me up, man. All right, bro.
You know what? It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful because we're diverse people, and no matter what, man, I believe we win in the end. Sister Olubayo said thank you, and with that, bye-bye. You have a great rest of Sunday.
Enjoy the rest of your day, man.
You too, man. I'll let you soon, all right?
All right.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Jag minns ju den tid du gav mig life Olubayo. Nu vill jag kunna ge tillbaka allt jag inte kunnat ge förut.